everyone, I'm Ashley Graham, and you are here on my podcast, Pretty Big Deal. We are going to be talking about beauty, business, culture, and owning who you are. We want to make sure that you get involved. Get on Instagram, get on Twitter. Also, there's an app. It's called Anchor, and you can send me a voicemail. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what's going on. I want to hear how you feel like we can make the world a little better place. Without further ado, I want to tell you who the guest is today. I also want a glass of wine in my hand so that we can toast to the amazing actress, producer, Gabrielle Union!
Oh, whoop, whoop.
Boom!
Hi.
I hope that this is to your liking, this wine.
It's amazing.
It's pretty good. What is it, do you think? What
Is it Wade wine?
You guys have your own wine?
Well, my husband has Wade wine. I have my own white wine, vanilla pudding.
No!
Yeah.
Why did we not? Okay, so whoever the producer is.
We are officially a wine, Wade winos.
Oh, Darsell's fired.
Yeah, Darsell is fired for real.
It's okay. It's mainly sold in mainland China.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay.
Okay, good.
No, I mean like legit. It's like Wade wine is mainly sold in mainland China.
Got it.
Does brisk business, but
Okay, well maybe you can send me a case.
I can get you some pudding.
Hey!
I could get you some
What
pudding.
does pudding taste like?
It's a Chardonnay.
Oh, okay.
With vanilla undertones. But I thought, like, why have somebody search for some random title, like, amongst, a very crowded shelf? So I wanted it to, like, kind of stand out. So I named my wine Vanilla Puddin' with no G, puddin', apostrophe. And it sold at Total Wine and More.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. And where's your vineyard?
It's in Napa.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Wow.
Yeah, with the Troussard family.
Ooh,
Yeah.
It's so fancy.
Yeah.
That's like the next thing, then I'll add wine to the list.
You got to get wine, tequila, vodka. Like, listen.
No, you are
I will
a
not
tequila
stop.
girl. Okay, so we were actually at the Met, and we
Yes.
sat at the same table with Prabal Gurung. It was an amazing event. How many times have you been to the Met?
3. That was my 3rd time.
Okay, that was my 2nd. And I feel like every time I go, I'm like even more nervous because it feels like you have to keep topping what you did the year before.
Yeah. Because people actually keep like count of and track of your highlights, let's
Yep.
hope, or how you have failed miserably.
Yeah, exactly.
She did not even stay on theme.
That's what I kept getting this year.
Do you want me to but you have a choice. Do you stay on theme and potentially look nuts?
Yep.
Or do you just go cute?
Yeah, I know. And
I like to err on the side of cute.
I really think I went really cute too.
You looked hot.
Thanks. So did
You looked really hot.
When we were getting our pictures taken, it was probably like 10 of us,
was
and
a big
then
group.
Miss Gabrielle came in with her yellow gown. It was like dun da da da, and it was like a moment. I was like,
She's a pineapple.
you looked amazing. Anyway, so we were at the table and we were all talking, and the one thing I kept asking for was vodka, but your thing was tequila.
Tequila.
So tequila is like the end all be all.
That we are very good friends.
Okay.
We are very good friends. Sometimes we break up around 3 a.m. And then the next day, tequila's like, fuck you. How's that stomach? And I'm like, but
So
I
you
love
s-
tequila.
So not only do we have the Met in common, but we're both from Nebraska, which
Do people know that?
I don't know. So I didn't know like that you spent every summer in Omaha, and not only that, you went to UNL or UNL.
L, yeah.
And I was like, she really is from Nebraska.
Yeah,
like,
go Big Red.
this is
We're going to the home opener.
And then when we were at a football game with my whole family, they're like, "Oh yeah, Dwayne and Gabrielle, they come all the time." I'm like, "For real? Like,
For real.
You're a big fan."
I'm an insane fan.
My friends and everybody in Nebraska is about to disown me, but I just don't care about football like that. I just like if you're gonna invite me to a game, I know. See, there it goes. The disowning
done.
has begun. We can keep moving on.
Wait,
So
hold on. For the whole state of Nebraska,
just
let me
chug
rep
this.
real quick. When did this disinterest start?
okay, so
Was it during our lean years? Because we haven't always, we won a lot of national championships. And then you heard the Nebraska come out. We won a lot of national championships.
We did.
And then we had some lean years. Did you abandon us during our lean years? Is that what it was?
I moved to Nebraska when I was in 8th grade.
You might have missed your formative years.
Yes,
That's
thank you.
probably what
Like
it
it
was.
wasn't ingrained in me. Like "Go Big Red" was not whispered in my ear as I came out of my mother's vagina. Like
'Cause
it
that's what
was-
happens.
Yes, and it's like what my mom and I would do is we would go to the mall when there was a football game because we knew no one would be there. Yes.
I was gonna say, okay, first of all, for people who don't know, Football Saturdays in the state of Nebraska. Memorial Stadium is the third largest city in the state because everyone, if you can't actually get a seat, you come to Lincoln, or you just don't leave your house.
I know. It's I
Except
failed Nebraska.
Ashley left her house to go to, where were you going? To Westroads, Crossroads? Where were you going?
We were in Lincoln, so we were going to South Point.
South Point.
Because my mom's from South.
And you were in Lincoln, not going to the game or watching the game.
Yeah.
Who was there with you?
We were on the South Side.
At the Wet Seal. Like, where were you going?
Me and Mom.
You and Mom at Wet Seal.
We went to Hot Topic. We went to Wet Seal. We went to Christopher and Banks.
This is blasphemy.
It's a.
I mean, were you even eating runzas? Do you think? Shut your mouth.
No, but
don't you blaspheme runza.
I love their fries. Their fries are amazing. Their fries are Godfather's Pizza.
Okay. All
right. Also,
but no runza.
I was raised on the farm in the summers, so I'm like a real Nebraskan. Yeah, come on, Come on.
Don't like runza or football. Like I blame it that you guys moved in the 8th grade. You just didn't have time.
I was 13 years old, 12 years old, and then we left when I was 17. So 12 to 17, only in Nebraska. So I did not read We're Going to Need Some More Wine. I listened to it because I'm a millennial.
Even better, because it's how the stories are meant to be told.
Like, I saw your face kind of go, oh, womp womp, and then get excited because you were like, you didn't read it? No, I listened to it. It's amazing how you were, I don't know, I'm talking to you now and it feels like I was just like talking to you yesterday because I got through it in 2 days. I mean, it is an awesome read. It's serious, but it's necessary, and it literally felt like I was talking to my best girlfriend who had already lived a life that I needed to learn from, but that I felt like I could share anything back with. So first of all, thank you for writing that. It also sounds like you wrote it yourself too.
That's Nicole.
Yeah. Because it is hard. I know I wrote my book last year, and it's hard. It's hard to get all your memories together. It's hard to get all your thoughts out on paper and then really have it feel genuine to the reader.
Yeah.
And you did that.
Yeah.
You really did.
I wanted it to sound like a cool conversation over cocktails. And so I was lucky enough to not write. I wasn't going for a Pulitzer.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was going for a conversation, an honest conversation. So I write the way I speak because that's how I want the reader to receive the message. Mm-hmm. So I'm lucky in that way. I wasn't trying to write my, college application essay.
Right.
And be judged by how many, SAT words I've thrown in there.
No, you were just real. It was
I was just trying to be honest. And then luckily, by me doing my own Audible, it actually, you can listen to it in the way that I intended it.
In the beginning of your book, you talk about living in a very white world.
Yes.
And being a black woman, but not wanting them to see your blackness.
Yeah.
And then going to Omaha and being with your grandma and your cousin and then wanting to be black, but they're like, oh, your cousin is white. And I want to know today what you're telling those young girls who have similar experiences, who hate their skin, who hate their hair, who hate who just they are in general. What are you telling them today that you wish you would have heard then, that maybe would have helped change the course of your childhood?
Yeah, I mean, it's a journey to worthy, right? So I tell people first and foremost, baby, you were worthy from birth. Mm-hmm. You were worthy as a thought. You were worthy as a zygote. So as you move through the world, do not be afraid of taking up space. Do not be afraid of living your most authentic life. Do not, I get code switching because I do it all the time, but you don't have to. Whatever your authentic voice is, that's what you ride with. Mm-hmm. You don't have to switch it up to be something to everyone because you will end up being nothing to you.
That's good advice.
The other day I was talking about this, the performance of perfection. Mm-hmm. And we have this idea of what a perfect black person is. And white folks have an idea of what a perfect black person is, which is usually a mute or somebody that amplifies white supremacy, that centers white supremacy. And I have been that person. And in my own community, this idea that you have to be the wokest, dopest, most natural, hair-wearingest, most fully evolved, educated, formed person at all times it's impossible because we're all on this journey, and no matter where you are on that journey, you are a dope person, you are a worthy person, and who you are as a Black person, wherever you are on that journey, is real and valid. However you sound, that's okay too.
Right. And that's
if
for
you
any race.
if you are natural, if you wear your hair natural, if you wear your hair in wigs, if you wear extensions, if you rock a relaxer, it has no bearing on your soul or your character. And there's always someone who's able to do your hair.
Yes.
When you show up to a set.
Yes.
And again, like
you also talked about that in your book.
Yeah, sometimes being the acceptable Black person in a white set, in a white glam squad trailer, is being the mouse, the one who not the squeaky wheel. And by squeaky wheel, they mean demanding accountability for the diversity that exists on this set, and having somebody that is qualified and knowledgeable on how to do our hair, no matter the curl pattern.
Yep.
And people who even have makeup that matches our skin tone.
Hello. You don't have to bring your own foundation.
But to say I need this, for white folks, sometimes that makes you a squeaky wheel, a difficult person, and somebody to be cast off. And I've never had that experience. Or seen the experience with a castmate that does not have my skin color or hair texture.
Well, more on that later, because I want to talk about race, because I think race conversation is a very important one to have, especially today, especially with white people, because I think more white people need to be educated. But we're going to get back on that later. I want to talk about Breaking In. You starred in Breaking In. You produced Breaking In.
Yes.
I mean, was this your first time starring and producing in the same film?
No.
Okay.
In the same film? No, because we did Almost Christmas, and I did another one for Lifetime called With This Ring.
Okay, so how was it, first of all, shooting Breaking In? Because that was like a badass film.
It was a challenge, and we made it for a sack of Doritos, and luckily we are now, I think, at 8 or 9 times budget.
Oh, wow.
So it is a massive hit. By Hollywood standards, by anybody's standards.
Okay, so in talking about Breaking In, I also want to talk about how it is with Black films. So how does this feel now? Like, films are changing.
It feels late.
It feels
late.
But I want to talk about right now. Like, yes, it feels late. We know it's late. Like, everybody's talking about how late it is.
I want people to say it's late, like, before every sentence. Like, I am so sorry. We are late as fuck. We have categorically ignored billions of people. Our bad. But I want everyone to start every conversation with that. But
you can't say our bad. You have to.
Well, it is our bad. If I'm also a filmmaker, and I know that there are billions of stories and billions of narratives that deserve to be told. Have I done everything I can to make sure all of those voices have been heard? I'd like to say no. I haven't.
So you're taking I'm a little bit of the ownership.
I will take some ownership of that. Okay. As a creative, I haven't done everything in my power. I'm going to try to rectify that as often as I can and as much as I can, and to make sure that my production company is reflective of the global audience. But every time I've gotten a seat at the table, did I make damn sure that there were other seats and enough seats at that table? Did I make sure that people had directions to the house where the table was at?
Right.
You know what I mean? Not always. Sometimes I felt like, ooh, I'm the special Negro. I'm here. That's enough. And it's not enough.
But you can't always, like, voice your opinion. You can't always be the one. But there are so many times where I've even been in a room and I can say what I want to say, but then they might gloss over you and be like, okay, yeah, there, big girl. And then nothing ever changes.
At least you are part of the solution.
Okay,
and silence is complicity.
Okay, yes, because if you're a part of the silence, you're a part of the problem.
They're like, and she's cool with it. Ashley didn't say anything.
Right. No, I get it.
You know what I mean? So for me, I'd rather be, here she goes again, than the mute in the room with a seat at the table.
But here we are, and we've got films that are finally coming out with all Black, all Asian, we can go down the gamut, and it's finally happening.
This idea that real inclusion isn't lucrative in Hollywood is a farce, has been a farce.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
And I don't know how many times people have to pretend to be shocked.
Right.
Like Breaking In, again, we made it for a sack of Doritos, and they're like, look at you go. And it's like, honey, I've been going.
Yeah.
Tell me a movie I've been a part of that has lost money.
Exactly.
Never, because it doesn't exist. 23 years later, how the hell did I become an ingenue overnight? I've gotten more opportunities at 45 than when I was, eating top ramen at 25.
Well,
when I'm
also-
supposed to have more opportunity.
You are aging
I'm supposed to be
backwards.
more visible and, you know what I mean, and more worthy.
So you had said something about brown women just being in film, and I also want to talk about your boys.
Yeah.
And how you just came out and talked about them following girls on Instagram.
Yes.
This is something that's very interesting to me because my husband's Black, and I get to have these open conversations about race, about how we're going to raise our potential children, about what it is like for him to be a Black man in America. And when first of all, there was the chapter about your boys in when you were driving the golf cart to go get them, and then now with the Instagram, I want to talk about that because first of all, you're a phenomenal stepmom, and I love everything that you said in your book because it gave me chills. It really did, and I want to talk about raising young Black men. I want to talk about the struggles, but I also want to talk about the joys.
With the struggles, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Once they're old enough
I
to
laugh
be
because
out
I'm
of
a little nervous.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like once they're old enough to move around, without being physically tethered to you, you just hope they come back. Mm-hmm. You know all the obstacles that they could face in any given day. Mm-hmm. You know how their skin has been demonized and weaponized and criminalized, and especially in Florida. Any one of my neighbors can kill my kid and get away with it and say I was afraid.
I can't. Yeah.
I
can't
that
even
alone
imagine.
is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're privileged. Mm-hmm. They've grown up with other children of privilege. Mm-hmm. And in Miami, other Latino children, other white kids.
You better roll your Latinos.
I try to be as authentic
really
as possible.
from Miami.
But there's a certain amount of privilege and entitlement that they've been raised with, and that don't matter. You aren't walking around with your parents' credit scores or their bank accounts on your forehead. Mm-hmm. You are just occupying space in a Black body in traditionally white privileged spaces. Mm-hmm. You cannot respond to authority figures, police officers, our neighbors, security officers.
They have no voice.
Teachers in the same way that your friends can. Mm-hmm. And it's that proximity to whiter or lighter privilege that they can see that is infuriating to them. Listen, we all have Chatty Cathy kids and friends that we have. Yeah. And they kept saying, but I wasn't the only one talking. I'm like, but you were the only Black one talking. And when your teacher is scanning the classroom, who do you think her eye goes to? Mm-hmm.
When you were giving the boys advice in your book, and you said, do not be alone with a white girl in a room. Do not wander this house, because who will
if something pops off, who are they going to believe?
And
Not
they're going
you.
to point at you, and it's going to be your fault. Yeah. Now, being a white woman who will potentially have children that will be Black, I have to switch my mind. I have to completely say, wow, I was never raised like that. I have to educate myself. And I think that in a lot of interracial relationships, that isn't happening. They're not having those kinds of conversations. So all the white women out there or all the white guys out there, like, you have to have these conversations when you're in an interracial relationship, because as a white person, we live in a white world. Well, as a Black person, you live in a white world also. And it's this constant harping that we don't know about, that you guys have to not only have to explain yourselves every day, that you have to educate every day. Everything feels like a teachable moment, and it is exhausting.
It is exhausting. It is infuriating. Mm-hmm. You have to understand that your children will move through the world differently than you, and your money, your privilege, your how you are adored will be different for your children, and it's not something that they get to carry with them as layers of protection. Once your kids, like I said, are old enough to move through the world without you physically right there, they just have to hope that the world treats them with the same love and kindness that you raised them with.
Right.
And that they are aware enough that they come home to you, and they do all the things
That you taught
consciously
them.
or subconsciously that allow them to come home, and having a conversation about how to walk the dog.
Right. I mean, to me, that was like, also, am I going to have to teach my children that they have to fear even to walk the dog? Going to Dwayne's friends.
Going down to the Bosches.
Yeah, like, what?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's really, it's insane. But, okay, between healthy self-image and healthy fear, how exactly are you raising your sons to be the strong Black men that they are?
And that is the question, right? I haven't figured it out.
Damn.
What we do, which is part of what makes me fearful, is you are a strong, proud, beautiful, intelligent, global citizen, right? Stand in that knowledge. Be proud of that. Own your space. Don't shrink for anybody. But in the same breath, when you are in the presence of the police, if acting subservient will bring you home,
You do it.
you do whatever it takes to come home, and then you let me whoop somebody's ass. But that,
Have you had to go back to the police station and say,
no, I mean, luckily we have not
Okay,
had this.
yeah.
I have had to go to the school, though.
I know, because that's also in your book. And then you
Yes.
pulled your sons out because, I mean, the fact that more than one kid was calling them the N-word is disrespectful, unexcusable, and the fact that the school had no idea to, quote, think like that was just absurd to me.
Or when my children are responding, they are being called bullies.
Bullies. Yes. I love that you're a paperwork kind of girl.
Listen, I will come with spreadsheets, like memos, listen.
And
like,
ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what I'm talking about, yes,
Receipts.
but she brought paperwork and Excel sheets into her parent-teacher conference.
books, articles.
To the principal's
Yes.
office to talk about all of this. So read the book.
But it's
Listen to
like
the
we
book.
have to be very clear about the words that we use and how we describe people. And if you were describing my boys as bullies for trying to hold their classmates accountable for calling them the N-word and being wildly disrespectful,
Right.
The school is the bully.
Right.
You are not protecting my children.
Right.
You're not calling a spade a spade. You are demonizing my children for holding somebody accountable, as opposed to holding the child accountable for calling them nigga. And then you're kind of leaning into the age-old bullshit of, well, it's so confusing to our kids because rappers use it.
Nope.
Right. That's such bullshit. I mean, honestly, it should not be in the vocabulary for white people, and they should just understand that it's not your word. It is Black people's word, and they can use it however they want.
You don't magically go home and call somebody a bitch because it's in a Justin Bieber song.
Exactly.
You magically can pull it together then.
Yep. This is true.
Like, you don't talk out of the side of your face to your mother, calling them bitches and hoes and shit,
Exactly.
because you have fucking sense.
This is
But
a
there,
good analogy.
there's something about someone saying you cannot say this that it creates this like verbal diarrhea of nigga, 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 nigga.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And then you want an out. Listen, just for your own personal safety, I would suggest you not use it. But why don't you try it in a group of people that don't look like your little classmates and see how far you get. And when you get your ass whooped, talk to them about Kanye said it. And see how far that works.
Yeah, see how...
See if Kanye said it will magically heal the gash on your forehead. You can be realistic about it, or you can wait till your child writes a best-selling book and tells you about yourself.
We're gonna need some more wine.
We're gonna need some more wine. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like everybody should read this book.
So
Yes, tell me. What you wanna talk
So my
about?
kids were like, I felt like you should not have talked about us and our Instagram. That was a private conversation that you made public.
Were they mad?
They were very annoyed.
Okay.
And they were like, and that wasn't even me who said it. Now, granted, I was not super articulate in that we were talking to a group of kids.
Okay.
A couple of them the boys that live in our house, but a gang of them
Yeah.
were not children
Got it.
that I'm personally responsible for.
Okay.
And those were the kids who were more talking about
Okay,
there
not
aren't
necessarily your boys.
Yeah, so they felt
Okay.
personally maligned. But again, it's
Well,
like
we
these are
cleared it up, guys.
conversation. You were part of a larger conversation. But again, like when you talk about who are the beautiful, young women that you follow, even whether it be at your school, in your community,
Who was the
in
girl
the world.
on Instagram? She was cute. 1.2 million followers that you told them to look at.
Oh, Ryan Destiny.
Woo, she's cute.
I mean,
Woo.
She was my WCW the other day.
I know.
She's a triple threat. She is fly and amazing. And they're like, well, she doesn't go to the girls like at our school don't look like that. I'm like, first of all, before Ryan Destiny was Ryan Destiny, she went to high school and she looked like that. And I've been to your high school. There's a ton of girls who look like that.
At their new school?
At their school. Yeah,
Got it.
at their school.
I read the book.
But it's Miami. It is land of the beautiful people.
Hello.
And before they become beautiful women, they are beautiful young people.
Oh, Darsell's from Miami.
Oh, whoop whoop, South Florida, represent, heat lifer. But you know what I mean? And then we got to go a little deeper. Mm-hmm. What is it about your skin that you cannot see a girl who has your skin color and see the beauty in her? Do you see the beauty in when you look in the mirror? Mm-hmm. Because for me, I feel like you're projecting something. Some feelings that you have about yourself onto these young women, in erasing them, in ignoring them, in not seeing their beauty.
But you went through that.
Yeah.
But with dating light-skinned guys.
Yeah. Because I somehow thought that I was more visible and I was more real and valid and worthwhile if a light-skinned boy found me attractive. Like it was somehow negating my darkness. Mm-hmm. And in the reverse. What is it about how you see yourself that makes you erase these young women?
Right.
I want you to be able to see that women are beautiful in every shade, shape, race, ethnicity, religion, like every along the spectrum. There is beauty.
Right.
And right now, what I'm seeing is a very, very, very narrow scope of
who
beauty.
You follow, who you like, who you want to be with.
And so last night, we were having this discussion with a larger group of boys. Our boys were in LA right before they had to go back to school. And we were having this discussion about what do you want young girls to know, right? If I'm going to go speak to young girls. I was just speaking to a group of women today. What do you guys want young girls to know? And they're like, that we're not all the same. You guys always say, Blanc or ain't shit, right? And
you can say whatever you want.
But we're not all like that. We're not all just concerned with what's between your legs. Some of us want to actually get to know you, and we care about your accomplishments. We care about what else you have going on. We care about your relationship with your parents or whatever. And I was like, okay, that is so fair and amazing. Mm-hmm. Do you think you are sending mixed messages based on the decisions and the choices that you actually make in real life? Mm-hmm. Do you think what you say is what you do?
Right, because actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
Especially for young people.
Yeah, and I said, so when you look at all the young women that you follow, and I said, you guys know that who you like, what you like, and who you follow on social media is public knowledge.
Right. I mean,
Yes.
hello.
That
So
is correct.
I always look to see who's following me.
Yeah. So, do you think that your follows and your likes and who you give attention to,
Yeah. Do they speak?
does
what
that
you're
speak to what you're saying?
Yeah.
Crickets.
Wow. Because you just dropped the mic on them.
So, and I said, if that's not who you want to be perceived as, then don't be that.
Yes.
Yes.
Shakalaka.
You know,
Gabrielle Union is
preaching.
in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
know.
We're going to pass the tithe offering, the tithe
Oh.
bucket around.
For the building fund.
Another thing that's near and dear to my heart that you talk a lot about is your incident where you were raped at 19 years old.
Yeah.
And I cried when I listened to this because I could hear the pain that you still had in your voice when you spoke about it. But I also applauded you because of all the work that you're doing for every other woman who is a rape victim today. And I want to talk about the Me Too movement. I want to talk about how do you feel now, today, as yourself, versus when you were then at 19 years old? And what has changed for you? What has the industry done for you? What has the Me Too movement done for you?
What the Me Too movement has done is create a space, a safe-ish space for people who have experienced sexual violence. It has created the space to let you know you are not alone. You are not suffering in silence. You are not suffering in a vacuum. There are, unfortunately, many people in this fucked up club, but you're not alone.
Right.
And there are things that we can do about this. There are ways of holding people accountable, and there are strength in numbers. And while nobody wants to be a part of this fucked up club, since we are all here, how do we collectively pool our power? How do we reclaim our power and then use it to hold people accountable, to change the next generation, to attack toxic masculinity, to attack rape culture? How can we elicit real fundamental legislative change for the next generation, while also healing ourselves?
Because we haven't had that opportunity to talk about it until now.
No, because there's so much shame and blame that goes that swirls around sexual violence, and we are definitely still in, unfortunately, blame the victim spaces. And when you look at how the Me Too movement has impacted communities of color, it has not had the same impact. The voices in the Me Too movement who are most vulnerable, who are most impacted, those voices have not, and those experiences have not been amplified.
Right.
We have unfortunately centered voices of not just white women, but white Hollywood royalty.
Right.
And when you realize even those women are not believed, those women are maligned, those women, are still getting fighting for the resources to heal, it makes a lot of other people in communities of color or marginalized communities feel like if they aren't being heard or if their voices are trying to be squashed, what does that mean for me? Just in the way that Terry Crews was maligned and continues to be maligned. What does that say to young men, older men who have been abused, about how their masculinity and their character will be attacked for telling their truth? We send a lot of fucked up mixed messages. And I want to be clear that the Me Too movement is all inclusive. I've been using the phrase Me Too for many years. A lot of us have been using the phrase Me Too.
Were you using the Me Too phrase when you were talking about it in your book, and you said that women look at you and you say Me Too? Did you say that before the movement began?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I said it before Alyssa Milano
Got it.
catapulted the
Into
Me
a
Too movement into a larger hashtag. But the Me Too movement was started, like in an official capacity by Tirana Burke a decade before.
Got it. Okay.
So,
oh, she's had it out for a decade now.
A decade, yeah.
And we're just now hearing about it because she's a Black woman.
And we do not center the voices and the pain of Black and brown women. There's so many of us across the board that desperately need the Me Too movement. But there are some of us who in marginalized communities that need the microphone, more microphones, more stages. I want to make sure the volume is turned all the way up.
And that's what you're doing. You're going into these communities and you're making sure that these women's voices are heard.
And again, when we talk about any kind of movement or corporation or crew, squad goals, if there is not intersectionality, it's self-serving.
Right.
Period.
Right.
If there's not real inclusion, if there's not real intersectionality in feminism in your corporation and in your group of friends, but you are all supposed to be change agents, how much change are you really making?
Exactly.
Or are you all patting yourselves on the back?
You're actually creating change.
I mean, I'm trying to.
Well, you're very inspirational to me, and you're very inspirational to a lot of young women. And something that we're doing on Pretty Big Deal is we are honoring women or initiatives who are changing their world, changing their narrative, changing the people around them. And today, I want to give you the opportunity to kind of give your Woman Crush podcast, kind of.
Oh,
so
geez.
who do you want to honor today?
Oh my gosh.
I know, I kind of put you on the spot.
I honor so many people. Because there's so many dope people.
It's okay.
You know what? Because we were just talking about her, Tirana Burke.
Okay.
Who has become a good friend. She has been on the ground for over a decade doing this work without the money, without the support, without the resources, without major media, without a publicist. She's been doing the work. Because she is of the work.
Right.
And I'm incredibly proud of what she's done. I'm incredibly proud of what she's doing now that she is on a bigger stage. I'm incredibly proud of how she is amplifying the work of the other sisters in the struggle and our male allies.
Yes.
But she never minces words. She never compromises her integrity and her dignity or the message.
Right. She's a beautiful woman.
Her
soul is incredible.
Great lady.
And now I've been seeing her at runway shows. Fashion Week.
She is everywhere.
I love it.
She is everywhere. And what I love is that when a microphone gets in her face, she redirects to the real issues.
Right. She's smart. I love that.
She's
Thank
the
you.
shit.
Okay, there's our Woman Crush podcast. Okay, so I want to wrap this up a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to move on from very serious conversation to a little bit of fun.
Okay.
You know, a little bit more lighthearted.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So just change your hat a little bit. I'm going to give you a pretty big deal because you're a pretty big deal. I'm a pretty big deal. All of yous is a pretty big deal. And you can kind of finish a sentence. I'm just going to say pretty big idea, pretty big influence. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So Nikki, I want you to wrap it up with.
Did you say Nikki? I was like, she knows me.
I do. I know you, girl.
Thank you. Because now I feel really seen.
I love it. You
got me wine and you called me Nikki.
Yes,
We're just
girl.
going to work on your Nebraska and your Runza and we're going to be good.
Can you make Runzas? No, okay.
No,
I just
we
took it
ship
too
them
far.
in. We ship them in. Oh my God, did you spill on this white?
It's okay. It actually got on my black velvet.
She's hyperventilating.
It's on the black velvet. But you know what? Velvet just.
Having anxiety.
Wait, let me just double check. Nope, didn't get it.
Okay.
It's all good. Okay, so Nikki and I are going to go through this, and it's kind of rapid fire. If you need help, I can help you. Okay. Pretty big idea. Something that changed your life. Realization.
Don't let fear literally kill you.
Wow, that's good. Pretty big influence.
Ooh, Regina King.
Wow, I love her. Pretty big place.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Boop, boop, boop.
Go Big Red.
Pretty big look.
Ooh, Janet Mock.
Oh, love her. Okay, pretty big recommendation.
Memorial Stadium. Football Saturday, home openers. Nebraska.
Okay, pretty big motto.
Oh. Bad shit happens to people every day. It's how you choose to deal with it.
I love that. And I always say very similar situation is it just depends on how you handle the situation. And that's how bad it's going to be for you.
Exactly.
Thank you, Gabrielle Union, for being
is that
here.
it?
That's it.
I was like, I'm a Scorpio. I like walks on the beach.
But I also want to say thank you and what's next, because we all want to know what's going on in your world.
What's next? Okay, so obviously my partnership with New York and Company, the Gabrielle Union line with New York and Company.
You also have a new clothing line that's size inclusive.
Yes.
I freaking love that. For me, I saw a hole in the industry and I wanted to fill it.
Yes.
Did you feel like you saw a hole also? Like, what was your intention behind?
My goal was to create a line that my family could enjoy.
Okay.
But my family's not all size
2, 4, 6.
20 and under.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have all different sizes. And there was a good chunk of my family who couldn't wear my clothes. Mm-hmm. And so we had to fight and continue to fight to make sure that we were size inclusive.
Wow.
And
even in the first season, like they still
in the beginning, it's a fight to make sure that we have, enough sizes. And then but be like, oh, your family can have whatever it wants. And I was like, good chunk of my family isn't fitting into my line.
Right.
And so we had to make sure that my family could, and every family could actually wear the clothes.
Well, because the average size American woman is a size 14, 16. So if we're looking at the average and we're not even scaling up or down, then like, who are we dressing?
Exactly.
But I also like that you wear the clothes.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who just smack their name on stuff.
Yeah. No.
You're not
I
a
can't.
smacker on a namer.
I can't. My whole goal about the company, New York and Company, is that it's for everyone. It's a price point for that a good chunk of people can appreciate and get into. And I just wanted to offer a little something that was like a bit of a slice of my closet. And then some of it's like my wishful thinking, like things that I don't get to wear that often. That I'm like, well, can we try to move in this space? Let's all like try it together.
Right.
Like, shit. Let's
that's
all
the
be like
best.
fashion experiments together. My
waiting
flawless
for my
hair company
Yes.
for kids with textured hair. I have my new show, LA's Finest, with I hope she is like your next guest, Jessica Alba.
I'm so excited she's back.
She's amazing. I had to pry her back.
Really?
I mean, in her downtime when she's not running $1 billion company or, raising 3 children, I literally like begged her to come play with me, not even 3 months postpartum.
Oh, so you guys are like real friends.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is just like us, we met at different LA events drinking tequila.
Yeah!
And now, hopefully, we are going to be changing the television landscape.
I'm really excited.
2 boss chicks, women of color, changing the landscape. And we're going to need more wine, still available in hardback, but January 15th, we are going to paperback.
I'm really excited.
And it's
about
also
that.
available on Audible.
I know. For all the millennials out here who feel like you don't have time to read, Audible is the way.
Yeah. Oh, and I have a production company.
What's it called?
I'll have another.
That's awesome.
Yes, where
everything
we
is related
are-
to food. Between the
Food
wine,
and-
your production company, your book.
Yeah.
You're
Vanilla
a
pudding.
foodie.
Yeah. And then I have the campaign with Dwayne with Hallmark, where I had to choose somebody that means the world to me, and I chose my honey. And I talk about how I wanted to show him that I see and appreciate all of the little things that he does every day to prioritize my peace and my joy and my grace.
I love that so much. We're celebrating 8 years in August.
8 years.
Yeah.
What is okay? so
Veterans.
tell us.
No.
What is the secret?
I feel like you know already. We just
What is
laugh.
the secret?
We just laugh together. We laugh all the freaking time, and we have great sex.
All right.
He's done with me. He's now done with me.
And
Justin's
this is
the
how
way.
we do it.
Bum, ba-da-da. Okay, thank you, Gabrielle Union. Thank you, Darcy Linda. Love you
Nada.
always and forever.
South
long
Florida.
time.
Yes.
Thank
Wade
you.
County. It's
I can't
Wade
even get my
County,
thank yous in.
okay?
She was just talking about Wade County.
Wade County.
Don't forget, we want to hear everything that you are thinking. Go to Pretty Big Deal, Twitter, Instagram, and also to our new favorite app, Anchor, where you can leave me a voicemail, or you can also leave Gabrielle a voicemail as well.
We go together like
da-da-da-da-da-da, bang-a-da-ding-da-ding. Oh, I clearly don't know the-
Bing-a-ding-da-ding. Chang, chang,
Chang-a-da-chang-a-chang.
That's the way it should be.
Woo! Yeah! Okay, so thank you. I'm Ashley Graham. She's Gabrielle Union. This is Pretty Big Deal. And don't forget, you are bold, you are brilliant, you are beautiful. Love all you. Laters.